This is why Polaroid didn't want me to do this review. You gotta be kidding me, dude. Hold bag. Dang it. This is the I-1. It's really hard to see the screen during the day, by the way. It's jammed. Thanks, Polaroid. What's up, my dudes? So, welcome in to episode 1 of season 4 of Just Another Chris's Halloween special. And boy, do I have a pack full episode for you. I deliver on a promise that I made back in season 1. Kind of just a joke, but I decided to make it a reality. Which we're gonna pause on that for a second and get into the meat and juice of today's episode. And that is the Polaroid I-2 Real World In-Depth Review. And no, this is not sponsored by Polaroid. Nope, I paid for this camera all by myself. Yeah, that's why this video is so late, because I had to purchase this camera just like you did. All $600 worth. And not only did I spend all that money, I spent even more money because I like to thoroughly test cameras when I do reviews. This is just, I think, half of the photos that I shot with this camera. I've shot a lot. I think I've lost track of how many packs I've shot. I think maybe 6 or 7, maybe 10, maybe 10, maybe 10. Because I'm not sponsored, I can say whatever the heck I want to. Hashtag thanks Polaroid. I'm just gonna really cement myself on the blacklist at Polaroid. But we're gonna be taking this into the field to a special location that I promised back in season 1. Again, more as a joke. Fly out to Ohio, meet up with Dave Knott from the Knott Top YouTube channel, and we got into a car and then drove 9 hours to Jackson, Georgia, aka Hawkins, Indiana, from Stranger Things. Go to the filming locations. More on that throughout the series and a special dedicated video in the future. I want to go all out for this season because this is the final season of the Stranger Things themed Halloween special. I'm gonna do things differently next year, so I want to go out with a bang. But I shoot all film types in this camera. We also shoot the I-1. And there's even an extended version of this video over in the Spitfire Club. If you want to check it out, there'll be a link in the description below where I go even deeper on a few topics. Yeah, this is gonna be a great episode, so sit back, grab some mangoes, and enjoy episode 1 of season 4, Just Another Chris Halloween special. So we literally just rolled into Hawkins like 5 seconds ago, and it's a little dark out, but I'm gonna try shooting a longer exposure of that, because that is cool. This Surfer Boy Pizza van actually belongs to the Stranger Tours, which you'll learn more about them throughout the episodes, and a dedicated video coming really, really soon. But this is my 3rd, maybe 4th photo taken with this camera, and well, just check it out. So I'm just using manual mode. I'm letting the light meter on the camera tell me what setting I should be in. It's saying about 1 second. 1.3, nope. It takes a second, it's a little slow. So 1 second. It's so far the flash at 1 second. It malfunctioned. What? I took a shot and the photo didn't come out. So now that shot's completely ruined.
Maybe you could cover the lens for the second one?
It won't do that because the metering saying I'm too close for autofocus. Or maybe I'll just fire it really super duper fast. Okay, 250th, no flash. Here we go. This is only the 4th photo I've taken, and it's jammed. Thanks, Polaroid. It's jammed. Oh, you gotta be kidding me, dude. So what happened was, it tried to shoot out 2 photos at one time. And well, it got jammed, and now I have to like forcibly remove the photo. The other photo's probably ruined too. The one underneath it. And now the counter is off because I had to fire it twice. That means it won't fire. Actually, yeah, no, I can't even shoot the last photo because once it hits 0 on the counter, it thinks there's no film left in it. So I won't be able to actually finish this pack off. That's fun. No flash. And I'm gonna take a photo. It's just jammed again. This is why Polaroid didn't want me to do this review. Again, the very first pack I've even shot it. it tried to eject two photos at the same time. So this pack is actually completely ruined. Thanks, Polaroid. Look, it's all jammed in there, man. So I'll put a new film in. This is actually, if it was the film pack that was messed up, that's the second film pack I've had issues with in a row. First was a 600 one. I opened it and it was missing the whole front section. So you can't even do anything with it because it'll try to eject all the photos at the same time. Let me show you what I mean. So this is what I was talking about earlier. Thanks, Polaroid. I opened the box of film. There was nothing there. Brought it because I put these underneath the plane to be X-rayed. Polaroid and a sealed pack of Instax to test the myth of the underplane X-rays. Because supposedly those are more intense and ruin the film. But going through TSA X-raying, no problems. Trust me, no problems. But I'm testing that, so I'm sacrificing potentially film for you guys. So be sure to subscribe to see that test. That video is coming in the future. Now I lost all the sky light. I had a very short window to make this work. Now it's gonna be kind of hard. I'm just being curious to test the actual meter of the camera, not use my brain. I'm gonna let the camera kind of do it. Hey, it worked. Only took $20 a pack of film. So I'm just gonna put it into auto mode with the flash on and see what we get. And I realized I had that photo in my pocket. Hopefully I didn't crunch it. Okay, we're good. I'm being harsh because I'm a little mad that it didn't eject the photo right. Look. So, strike one. And I've said before in the past, I love seeing cameras with dials and switches and knobs and gizmos and gadgets. And this has it. However, I will say it's a little, I don't know what's the right word, annoying at times. And I'm referring to the exposure compensation dial. If you're not paying attention, you can be overexposing or underexposing your shot. It protrudes out the camera and it's really easy to move it. Now, if the camera does let you know once you turn it on, if the exposure dial isn't in the 0 or middle position, it will tell you right there. But it only lasts on screen for a few seconds and then it's gone. So if you're not paying attention, you can easily miss it. Now it has a dial on the front to cycle through the menu for your shutter speed and your apertures. Now, one of the biggest things that people were complaining about is the lens. It's plastic, you're spending $600 on a plastic lens. But yeah, it's a plastic lens, but I gotta say, it's extraordinarily sharp. Really, really sharp. And it does give a unique look. But inside the viewfinder, it does have a little heads-up display, which is really cool. Inside, it shows you your settings, your metering, exposure, all that stuff. And it's pretty much required because you can't really see the screen in direct sunlight, so you can look through there and see your settings. It does have app control as well. That's something I really didn't mess with because it has everything here. It also has LiDAR for its autofocusing, and I won't go into the craziness of how that works because truly, I don't know all of how it works to begin with. All I know is it is really good. The only thing is you can't shoot things through glass. And you don't have an option to turn off autofocus. It is always on. So if you want to shoot this through a glass window, you're gonna have to do it from pretty far away. In my experience, if you have a different experience, let me know in the comments below. If you aren't looking through the lens, you're still looking off to the side. And inside it does have a little window, so if you're shooting something that's, I think, closer than like 4 feet, I believe, then you need a frame inside that window. When you turn it on, it kind of sounds like a receipt printer, but that is the aperture blades cycling themselves. It actually has real aperture control. And when you dial in an aperture, you are truly getting that aperture. You're getting f8, f11, and you can go all the way up to f64, which is pretty cool. And the shutter speed we'll get to in a second, but the aperture locks itself at that. Even on SX70 cameras, you don't get control over that. That widest aperture on the SX70, I believe, is either f8 or f9, but you are rarely ever getting that when you shoot with that thing. Even inside low light, sometimes you don't get the full control of that. So this, you lock it in and you're good to go. Now the shutter speed only goes to 2/50th of a second. I would like to have seen it gone a little faster personally, but it has a high enough aperture to where you can compensate for that. But I would like to have seen this at least get up towards, 500th, at least. And the reason for that is that way I can use a lower f-stop on a brighter situation. Now the lens on this thing is a 98mm lens. So you're actually gonna get quite a bit of just lens compression and background blur even at a higher f-stop, especially if taking a picture of somebody up close, even on a sunny day and with a high aperture, you're still actually gonna get a pretty decent background blur. It does have flash sync on the back, so you can actually hook up an external flash system, which is pretty cool. But in the menu, you get some cool options like multiple exposures, 4 exposures, if you're into that sort of thing. I've never been one for that, but some people are. It has a self timer, and you can actually set the timer for the length you want, up to 12 seconds, that is. It has auto mode. You got aperture priority mode, which is pretty cool. You set the aperture that you want, and it will stay at that aperture, and it will do auto shutter speed. Then it has shutter priority. Same thing, but in reverse. And then of course it has manual control mode. And to charge it up, it uses USB-C. Yes, you heard me right. Charge it up. It doesn't have a removable battery. And for $600, you would think it would have a removable battery. It's one of the biggest things outside of the lens being plastic that I've heard people complain about. And I agree, I totally agree. Because even with a $600 mirrorless digital camera that shoots 4K and all that craziness, it has a removable battery. And so far, Polaroid hasn't released, at the date of the recording, any sort of serviceability. Who's gonna do it? Are they gonna do it if the battery goes bad? Or longevity. No mention of what that looks like, if anything at all. So enough talking about the specs and stuff. Let's dive right back into the field and see where I'm at. I don't know where I'm at. Shoot, I forgot to call him to work. Hold bag. TM. Patent pending. Dang it. What happened? It's like really nasty looking. This is the pack of film that Polaroid sent with the camera. In my experience, the settings dial is really slow while cycling through. I'm still trying to cycle the shutter speed. All right, I got there. Now the sun went away, so now it's going to change. All right, let's try it again. 16/250th of a second. It's really hard to see the screen during the day, by the way. It's really tough. I guess if you look through the viewfinder, that does help. You can see the little HUD display in there. I interrupt this video to bring you something quite delicious, my dudes. A limited edition Make Some Art t-shirt exclusively only during the Halloween special. And don't forget about the Spitfire Club, baby. You get some great perks like exclusive photos, one of a kind, sent to your door every single month. Monthly Zoom calls, exclusive videos, and extended videos, and more. But get this thing before it's gone forever. So this is Stranger Tours, and again, a video is coming in the future talking all about it more in depth. But basically, this is a walking tour through Hawkins and a place of business. It's really cool, and the people that run it are amazing.
So let's remember that.
Hey, so wanted to pause real quick from using this for a second and talk about a little bit more of its history. This is the I-2, as you know. Did you know there's an I-1? I just so happen to have it over here. This is the I-1, very first impossible project camera. Old employees of the original Polaroid company, they bought the factories and started up the Impossible Project and started continuing the film and all that stuff, and eventually bought the name Polaroid, and that's who they are today. This was the first camera that was ever made in like 10 years, I believe, and then later on they discontinued this and created the One Step Plus camera. So I've actually never used this before, so I was going to shoot a couple shots with it just to see what we can get, just for fun, because there are some cool, unique things that this has, like this viewfinder. It's really trippy. It's really kind of interesting how that works, and you may notice this giant ring. It has an LED ring light for its flash, which is pretty unique, and I haven't used it before, so I'm really excited. First shot has been taken. Look at that. Now we wait to see if it even works. Maybe it does have autofocus. I gotta look at it. That I don't know. It's making it sound like it's autofocusing. It's a fun camera. I actually like it. I want to find one. Now that they're $1 million and very few of them available. The funny thing is about this, when I first was getting into it like hardcore in like 2020, these were being clearanced everywhere from like Adorama, B&H for like 50 bucks, $40, and I didn't get one because I assumed, so never assume, I assumed it was the same thing as the One Step Plus, and the One Step Plus was the modern like redesigned but all the same stuff. It's not the case. This is actually completely different, and I regret that decision. This is actually pretty cool. I'm gonna shoot SX70 film in here because it actually has a mode for that. Let's see what we can get. This is also expired last year. So I'll see what happens. I haven't shot SX70 film since like 2020 in New York City. Brooklyn Bridge. I think that was the last time. All right, so once you put the film in, you have to open the film door, and then on the menu, and it looks like it lets you cycle the film type. Boom, cycle SX70. And then I can hit OK. So now it's set for SX70, and now we're good to go. It's impossible to see this freaking screen on this thing. All right. Ooh, SX70 film. Fun. B-roll. After looking at these photos from the i2, you really have to use the manual controls so far. I mean, I've shot like 3 packs in this as of now, and auto mode isn't the greatest. It's still overexposing the shots, outside that is. Inside it does a pretty dang good job. It really got me excited because I was getting some great results. The moment you go outside with auto mode, it just falls apart. And it's really reminiscent of the Now Plus. However, you do have the manual control features with this, so you can compensate and dial it in. So far, I haven't found this to be like a great running gun, just quick shoot something and go. You have to spend a little bit of time with what you're shooting. Depending on your shooting style, that could be a plus. For me, I tend to like to kind of shoot it and move on pretty quick. So I don't know, I'm still unsure how I feel about the camera just yet. I still have to shoot a few more packs to really dial that in. So until then, let's continue on. So I'm at f11 at 250th of a second. So the shutter speed is completely maxed out. See. Right now it's not too, it's in direct sunlight, but it's not too bright. This camera hasn't been doing a great job, so I did underexpose it by one stop, so nice. And I even got the same color of the freaking car. So I've been having mixed results with this, but I gotta say the photos, when I nail them, they look so good. They almost look too good, if that makes sense. Like this photo of the Surfer Boy pizza van. It kind of looks like I just used the Polaroid Lab, perhaps. It almost looks digital. It's like not what I'm used to seeing when I think of instant photography. Now that was shot with manual controls, and when I go into auto mode, that's when it starts to look like an instant film camera. More reminiscent of what I would expect to get from a Polaroid camera. Now shooting this in auto, like I said, I was having a lot of issues getting proper exposures with it. I was doing it in various lighting conditions, shade, not shade, bright sunny day, direct sunlight, and it was just all over the place. It wasn't consistent. I was getting kind of overexposed images reminiscent of the Polaroid Now Plus. But the people that are buying this camera aren't really looking for the auto features. They're gonna be looking more for those manual controls. And you can get some great shots with it. Now, in the video, I was leaning on the camera's light meter itself to gauge the scenes, because I felt that's just a proper way to really test this thing. Because that's what Polaroid's given us, and that's what I wanted to test. Now, if you're using a external light meter, that's what I would recommend you using, because the one in this camera, in all my tests and experiences, it's a little funky and it doesn't quite meter correctly. You have to take your time when you're shooting this thing. It's not run and gun. You can't just point it, shoot it, get your photo and leave. You do have to spend a little time with it and meter the scene correctly, mess with your dials and switches. So if that's your style, then you might like it. But like I said before, I tend to like to move a little quicker. And that's just a me issue. That may not be a you issue. And I also noticed that the exposing meter itself is also really, really slow. You could be holding the camera or having it sit on a tripod pointing at your subject. You'll be messing with the settings and the light meter might meter correct. And then you're like, okay, cool, I'm about to take my photo, and then it'll completely change because it's catching up, trying to compensate for what setting you land on. So slow down, pay attention. Now, it's continuous. So if the light changes, it will change. Now in the beginning, you may notice me saying, hey, it fired the flash even in manual mode. Yeah, you can actually do that, which is actually a kind of a cool feature, meaning you could like expose for the background and then still have a flash on your subject. And that way you can kind of get an even exposure, which that's super cool. You know, even do this to an extent with the auto mode, which I was able to shoot Dave's cat. That sounds weird to say. I should maybe rephrase that. I took a picture of Dave's cat, and you can kind of see this here. This is with the flash on. It doesn't look like the flash was on. It is a very evenly exposed picture of this cat, and this is inside. Now, I wasn't able to replicate this often. A lot of times when I was shooting indoors with the flash on, I was getting just completely blown out images. So there's that too. Yeah. So I was gonna wrap this video up at Comic-Con, cool cosplayers at Rose City Comic-Con. Well, here are the results. Yeah, so it was really frustrating because I've actually wasted probably 4 packs of film, maybe 5 packs of film in the last 4 weeks or so with various issues. Not necessarily the camera, even though this was the camera I did run into the most issues with the film. I think it's a coincidence. 2 of the packs that I received from Polaroid themselves, I shot 3 photos, possibly 4 photos, and you saw what happened there. It jammed up. I showed you the other issue I had where the pack of film there wasn't a front plate. And then here at Comic-Con, I shot the entire pack. That is an entire pack of film, completely spread issue. I got a couple images, I guess. They're still somewhat usable, and I think that's just horse shit. Bullshit. It's garbage. It's so frustrating because I probably spent easily $100 on film. It's so frustrating. Meanwhile, Instax just has it figured out. That just shows you quality control with Polaroid, not necessarily this camera, but I wasn't able to really do anything at Comic-Con. Oh, and that's my sister and her fiance cosplaying from Venture Time. And fun fact, that photo is actually SX70 film. I had 1 left over from when I was over in Hawkins, Indiana, aka Jackson, Georgia. And that was X-rayed twice. So that's just a fun little side note for you on having X-rayed film. That's fine. So final verdict, is this good? Should you buy it? I'm still on the fence about it, to be honest. I really don't have an answer. I've gotten great photos. I've gotten crappy photos. I've gotten no photos. It's $600. So if you really want to go buy it and you have the money, sure. I won't tell people to not go buy it. But for me, man, it's tough for me to really say how much, if I like it or not. I think I still need to shoot more, and I'm still willing to shoot more. So I've got a trip coming up. I might take it on. We'll see. But I applaud Polaroid for attempting to innovate and trying to put something out that hasn't been done before. I applaud that. But those are my findings. This is my test. Let me know what your results are if you have this camera. Are you pleased with it? Do you think it sucks? Have you returned it? Let me know. Let's chat. Leave some comments. And don't forget to check back tomorrow because the next episode drops and we're talking about Polaroid upside down film. Yeah, find out what I'm talking about tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, in the next episode. Now, get out there. Make some art.